Hello again, guys. So I'm afraid to say that this eye patch is not a prop. I was unfortunately diagnosed with a condition called Bell's palsy the other day, and I'm using the eye patch just to spare you from having to see my droopy eye that I've got taped up. So Bell's palsy is a condition that causes either full or partial paralysis on one side of the face, and I wanted to understand a bit more about why this paralysis is taking place. So I've rigged up this animatronic that I thought I'd share with you, and it will hopefully help to explain a basic overview for anybody else who has also been diagnosed with this condition, what's going on underneath the skin and the correlation between the nerves and the muscles and why this paralysis is taking place. But in addition to that, I inadvertently captured the very early symptoms of Bell's palsy because I was making a YouTube video the day before, and there's something called synkinesis, and this is when the voluntary movement of one side of the face causes an involuntary movement on the other side of the face. And you can clearly see how this manifests in this video that I'm about to show you. So I'll just show you this short clip. You can clearly see the involuntary blinking of my right eye. And I thought I'd share this just in case you see somebody with similar symptoms. It might be worth investigating. Also like to build your own version of this. I'm going to show you a quick step-by-step. So I'll talk you through this model and explain how I have used various electrical components to represent the different parts of the facial anatomy. So we'll start with the brain. Now the facial nerve, also known as the seventh cranial nerve, by the way, is connected to a part of the brain known as the motor cortex. Now the motor cortex allows you to move your muscles. Now in lieu of a motor cortex, we are using this microcontroller. And just as we can measure brain activity using electrodes, we are going to measure the electrical signal on this microcontroller by connecting to an oscilloscope, which hopefully you can see on the right hand side of the screen. And as we move the switch on the microcontroller from left to right, you can see how the pulse on the screen is getting wider to the right and narrower as we move to the left. Now this would indicate normal activity and that everything's working exactly as it should. So these yellow wires here connected to the microcontroller run down the inside of the skull through a facial canal, exiting around this point, and then branch off to these 5 main muscle groups within the face that allow you to smile and frown, etc. On this model, we are just focusing on this cheek muscle here, which isn't to scale, but it should help you to understand how the nerves and the muscles speak to each other. And to represent the muscles, I'll just show you underneath the skin. So I've connected a couple of servos to a 2-axis gimbal, which is connected to the microcontroller, and the ball on the top gives the impression of muscle movement. Okay, so we are in root health and we want to move our facial muscles. So we send a signal from our motor cortex through our facial nerve, and everything works as expected. And as you can see on the oscilloscope, we're getting a nice steady signal that's fluctuating with the contractions and expansion of the muscle. But what happens if one of these nerves gets damaged? So we're going to simulate this by disconnecting one of these servos. And as you can see now, we only have partial movement to the face. Or worst case scenario, what happens if several nerves get damaged? And then you can experience full paralysis to one side of the face. And this is effectively what happens in Bell's palsy. There is some kind of inflammation or compression to these nerves, and this is what causes the paralysis. But the good news is that over a period of weeks or sometimes months, the nerves can regenerate and repair themselves, and you will regain full movement of all of your facial muscles. So I hope this has made it easier for you to understand what's happening underneath the skin when you contract Bell's palsy. Thanks for watching.